My wife muttered to her friend, "He's clueless. Tonight's the night." I acted like I didn't hear a thing. But when I placed a single envelope in front of her during dessert, she swallowed hard, and her friend's smile disappeared so fast you'd think they'd seen something behind me. I'm 33, been married for 6 years. My wife and I met through mutual friends at a barbecue, hit it off immediately, got married maybe a bit too fast, but it felt right at the time. For the first few years, everything was solid. We bought a house together, adopted a dog, had our routines. I thought we were happy. About 8 months ago, things started feeling off. Nothing I could put my finger on exactly, just a shift in energy. She'd be on her phone more, laughing at messages she wouldn't share. She started going out more frequently with her best friend, sometimes not coming home until past midnight. When I'd ask how her night was, she'd give me one-word answers and change the subject. I'm not a naturally suspicious person, but I'm also not an idiot. I started paying closer attention. The way she'd angle her phone away from me when texts came in. How she'd started dressing nicer for these casual friend hangouts than she did for our date nights. The new perfume she bought that she only wore when going out without me. 3 weeks ago, her friend came over for dinner. We'll call her the best friend because that's how my wife always referred to her. They'd known each other since college, were thick as thieves. I'd always gotten along with her fine, though I noticed she had a way of encouraging my wife's more impulsive decisions. I was in the kitchen cleaning up after we ate, and they were in the living room having wine. Our house has an open floor plan, so sound carries weirdly. If you're in the kitchen at the right angle, you can hear everything said on the couch, but from the living room, it sounds like the kitchen is far away. I discovered this by accident months ago when I overheard my wife on a phone call I wasn't supposed to hear. That night, I was at the sink, rinsing plates, when I heard my wife's voice drop low. "I'm going to tell him soon. I just need the right moment." The best friend responded, "You've been saying that for months. What are you waiting for?" "I don't know. I guess I feel guilty." "Guilty? After everything? Please. You deserve to be happy." I know. You're right." I kept washing dishes, didn't react, didn't make a sound. My heart was pounding, but my hands stayed steady. The best friend continued, "So when are you going to do it?" "Soon. Maybe this week. You need to just rip the Band-Aid off." I dried my hands, walked back into the living room with a smile, asked if anyone wanted more wine. They both said no, exchanged a quick glance, and changed the subject to some show they were watching. I sat down, joined the conversation like nothing was wrong, and we spent another hour making small talk before the best friend left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there next to my wife, watching her breathe, wondering what she was going to tell me and when. The obvious answer was another person. The way she'd been acting, the secrecy, the guilt her friend mentioned, it all pointed in one direction. I could have confronted her then, could have asked directly, but something stopped me. Maybe pride, maybe curiosity, maybe just wanting to maintain some control over a situation that felt like it was slipping away from me. So I decided to wait and see what this week would bring. For the next few days, I acted completely normal. Kissed her goodbye in the mornings, asked about her day, suggested we watch a movie together one night. She seemed distracted but not unusual. On Thursday, she mentioned her friend was coming over for dinner again on Friday. 2 weeks in a row? I asked, keeping my tone light. "Yeah, she's going through some stuff. Needs the support." "No problem. I'll make that pasta dish she likes." Friday came. I left work early, stopped by 3 different places. First was my lawyer's office, where I'd had a consultation 2 days prior. He'd prepared paperwork based on our conversation, not divorce papers yet, just a formal separation agreement outlining asset division, since we had the house in joint accounts. Everything in that envelope was a proposal for how we'd split our lives if it came to that. Second stop was my bank, where I'd already quietly moved half of our joint savings into an individual account. Not to hide it, just to protect it. Everything documented, everything legal. Third stop was the grocery store, where I bought ingredients for an elaborate dinner. If tonight was going to be the night, she told me whatever she'd been planning to say, I wanted to control the setting. I got home and started cooking. My wife came home around 6, surprised to see me already there with dinner underway. "You're home early," she said, kissing my cheek. "Wanted to make something special. Your friend's still coming." "Yeah, she'll be here at 7. "Perfect." I made pasta from scratch, a salad, garlic bread, even a tiramisu for dessert. My wife watched me work, looking almost sad, which confirmed my suspicions. The best friend arrived right on time, holding a bottle of wine. Dinner was pleasant enough. We talked about work, the weather, some local news story. I watched them exchange looks a few times, little glances that said they were communicating something I wasn't privy to. After the main course, I cleared the plates and brought out the tiramisu. "This looks amazing," the best friend said, though her smile seemed forced. "Thanks. I wanted tonight to be memorable." My wife's hand tightened around her fork. "You didn't have to go to all this trouble." "No trouble at all. Actually, speaking of effort, there's something I wanted to share with you both." I walked to the kitchen counter where I'd left my bag, pulled out the manila envelope, and returned to the table. I placed it directly in front of my wife. She stared at it. "What's this?" "Open it." Her hand was shaking slightly as she picked it up. The best friend's smile had completely vanished, replaced with something between confusion and concern. My wife pulled out the papers, started reading, and the color drained from her face. What is this?" "It's a separation agreement. I had a lawyer draw it up. Fair division of assets, outline for selling the house, all very reasonable." The best friend leaned over to look. "Why would you?" "Because," I interrupted calmly, "I heard you two last week. The whole conversation about guilt, ripping off band-aids. Tonight's the night. I figured I'd save everyone some time and discomfort." My wife's eyes went wide. "You heard that?" "Every word. Kitchen acoustics are interesting in this house. You can hear pretty much everything said on that couch when you're standing at the sink." She looked like she might cry. "That wasn't. You don't understand what we were talking about." "Then enlighten me." "Because from where I'm sitting, you've been distant for months, secretive, spending more time away from home. Your best friend here has been encouraging you to tell me something that you feel guilty about. The logical conclusion isn't complicated." The best friend set down her wine glass carefully. "I think I should go." "No," I said. "Stay? Since you've been such a big part of whatever this is, you might as well hear the rest." My wife was crying now, actual tears running down her face. "It's not what you think. I'm not cheating on you." "Then what were you planning to tell me?" She wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath. "I got a job offer. In another state. A really good one, like dream job territory. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you, and she's been pushing me to just do it because I've been agonizing over it for weeks." I sat there, processing. "A job offer?" "Yes. In another state. And I knew you'd never want to move because of your family being here and your job and the house and everything. So I've been terrified to bring it up because I knew it might mean choosing between you and this opportunity." The best friend nodded. "That's what we were talking about. Her telling you about the job. Not whatever you thought." I looked at the separation papers sitting on the table, then back at my wife's tear-streaked face. "Why didn't you just tell me?" "Because I was scared. Because I thought you'd be angry or feel betrayed that I was even considering it. And the more time passed, the harder it got to say anything. So instead you acted suspicious and secretive, which made me think the worst." I know how it looked. But I wasn't cheating, I swear. I've just been a coward about having a difficult conversation." Update 1. We sat there for a long moment. The tiramisu was melting on the plates. The best friend was looking anywhere but at us. My wife was crying quietly, and I was trying to recalibrate everything I'd thought I knew about the situation. "What state?" I finally asked. She blinked. "What? The job. What state? Does it matter?" "I'd like to know what opportunity was important enough to destroy our communication for 8 months." She told me. It was across the country, major city, major company, significant pay increase. The kind of offer that doesn't come around often, especially in her field. "When did you get the offer?" 2 months ago. They gave me until the end of this month to decide." "That's next week." "I know." I pushed the papers toward her. "Read through these anyway. Not because I want a separation, but because you should see what I thought was happening. You should see what your secrecy created." She picked them up with shaking hands, read through them slowly. The best friend excused herself to the bathroom, probably to give us privacy, or maybe just to escape the tension. My wife set the papers down. "You really thought I was cheating. What was I supposed to think? You stopped talking to me. You changed your entire behavior. Your best friend was talking about guilt and ripping off band-aids. Connect the dots. I never meant. God, I'm so stupid. I was so focused on my own anxiety about the job that I didn't think about how I was acting." "You want to take it?" I said. "Not a question. I don't know. That's the problem. Part of me really wants to, and part of me doesn't want to leave everything here." "Everything meaning me?" "Yes. Meaning you, our home, our life. But also this feels like my one shot at this kind of position, and I'm terrified I'll regret it forever if I don't at least try. The best friend came back, still looking uncomfortable. I turned to her. You've been pushing her to tell me. What's your stake in this? She shrugged. I just hate seeing my friend torture herself over a decision. She's been miserable for weeks, and I thought if she just told you, at least you could figure it out together instead of her spiraling alone. And you didn't think to suggest she'd just have an honest conversation with her husband? I did. Multiple times. She kept saying she would, and then chickening out. My wife put her face in her hands. I'm sorry. To both of you. This is such a mess. I stood up, started clearing the dessert plates that no one had touched. My hands needed something to do. Here's what I think. I think you've already made your decision, and you're looking for permission or absolution or something. Otherwise, you would have told me immediately, and we would have discussed it like adults. That's not fair, isn't it? You got an offer 2 months ago. If you were genuinely torn, if you really saw me as a partner in the decision, you would have come home that day and said, hey, I got this incredible offer, but it would mean moving. Let's talk about it. Instead, you hid it, agonized over it alone, and made me feel like a stranger in my own marriage. She didn't have a response to that. Update 2. The best friend left shortly after, mumbling something about giving us space. My wife and I stayed up until almost 3 in the morning, talking in circles. She apologized repeatedly for the secrecy. I explained why her behavior had triggered every red flag. We were both exhausted and emotional and getting nowhere. Finally, around 2:45 a.m., I said, take the job. She looked at me. What? Take it. You clearly want to, and you'll resent me if you don't. I'd rather end this marriage with you pursuing something you want than have you stay and spend the next decade wondering what if. I don't want to end the marriage. Then what do you want? Because you can't have it both ways. The job is across the country. I have my own career here, my family, roots. I'm not moving, and you know that. Long distance. For how long? A year? 2? 5? That's not a marriage. That's an extended friendship with occasional visits. She started crying again. I don't know what to do. Yes, you do. You've known for 2 months. You just don't want to admit it. We went to bed without resolving anything. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how I'd gotten everything wrong and somehow still ended up at the same conclusion. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. She left a note saying she needed time to think and was staying with the best friend for a few days. I texted her that I understood and to take whatever time she needed. 3 days passed. She didn't come home. We texted minimally, just logistics about the dog and bills. On the 4th day, she called. I'm taking the job, she said, no preamble. Okay. That's all you have to say. What do you want me to say? Congratulations? Don't go? I'm proud of you, but also devastated. Pick one. I want you to fight for us. I would have fought if you'd told me 2 months ago. I would have at least considered moving or finding a compromise. But you took that option away when you kept it secret. Now it just feels like damage control, and I'm tired. She was quiet for a long time. So this is it. We're done. I think we've been done for a while. We just didn't realize it. I love you. I know. But love isn't enough when trust is gone. We agreed to handle the separation amicably. She'd take the job, move in 6 weeks. We'd sell the house, split everything fairly. The separation agreement I'd had drawn up became our roadmap, which felt darkly ironic. Final update. That was 3 months ago. The house sold faster than expected. She moved across the country 2 weeks after our last phone call. I helped her pack, which was surreal and sad and necessary. The best friend came by to help, avoided eye contact with me the whole time. We're not divorced yet, but the papers are filed. She's thriving in her new job from what I can see on social media, which I probably shouldn't still check, but do anyway. She looks happy, which somehow makes it worse and better at the same time. I'm still in the same area, got a smaller place, focusing on work and reconnecting with friends I'd neglected. My family has been supportive, though my mom keeps asking if there's any chance we'll reconcile. There isn't. The best friend sent me an apology text last week. Said she felt responsible for how everything went down, that she should have pushed my wife harder to just communicate. I told her it wasn't her fault, that we were all just doing our best with a situation none of us handled well. The worst part isn't the separation itself. It's knowing that if she'd just told me about the job immediately, we might have found a way through it. Maybe I would have surprised both of us and agreed to move. Maybe we would have tried long distance. Maybe it still would have ended the same way, but at least we would have tried together. Instead, I prepared for one betrayal and got blindsided by a completely different one. Trust is funny like that. Once it cracks, doesn't really matter what broke it. The damage is done either way. Edit. A lot of people are asking if I overreacted by having separation papers drawn up. Maybe. Probably. But when you hear your wife talking about needing to tell you something, see her friend encouraging her to just do it, and watch months of suspicious behavior pile up, you protect yourself. Was I wrong about what was happening? Yes. Was I wrong to prepare for the worst? I don't think so. Edit 2. Some are saying I should have just asked her directly. You're right. I should have. But after months of being shut out, of watching her pull away without explanation, I didn't feel like I had the right to demand answers. That's probably a me problem, something I'm working on. Communication is a two-way street, and we both